So what initially drew me to Cambridge was the fact that I could study an interdisciplinary degree, meaning that I wouldn't study only one subject, but I would look at a wider context of many situations and look at it from different aspects, which meant that I would get a more holistic overview of what the different problems entail. So that is one of the things that I really liked. And then secondly, I also liked that it was an academically focused university, which meant that I would be really focused on academic writing and academic research, which were both some areas that I wanted to focus on and improve. So I'd say that I properly started preparing since the beginning of year 10. So that was 4 years before I graduated, when I started doing a lot of different activities outside of school, which were mainly within school. I started debate club. So I debated a lot, both within our school, but also across different schools in Czech Republic. And then when I improved on my debate skills, I got the chance to represent the Czech national team at international competitions. That was certainly one of the things that I did since year 10, and I think definitely helped my application, because then I was able to perform better in the interview because those kinds of questions came more naturally to me. Some other things that I did were I was interning at the Czech Academy of Sciences, their economics institute, for 2 years. And there I got to really see how economic research is done firsthand. And I also got to participate in some policy proposals and then the final research paper write-ups, which was also really interesting. And I'd say that was one of the things that also made my application stand out. And then lastly, I'd say one of the last of the three very important things that I did was that I was part of Microsoft's Council for Digital Good, where we looked into safety of children online, and we were firstly meant to educate ourselves on this topic within our context. So in my context, that was Prague and Czech Republic. But then we were also meant to sort of learn from the other people within the program and then present our findings to different institutions and different representatives. So that included the OECD as well as the French regulatory institution ARCOM. I'd say that the thing that was really important to me when it comes to the academic environment is the internationality and the diversity of people that are studying there. And I think that to a certain extent, this was already the case for me at high school, because I was studying in an international school. So I was used to a certain extent to an international community of people. But at Cambridge, this was taken to a whole another level, because not only did people come from all over the world, but they were also really different in the case of backgrounds where they came from. But then when it comes to the academic environment, I think definitely there is a much larger emphasis on independence and being able to do things by yourself. And also the level of expectations of you being able to complete your work independently is much, much higher. So that was something that was quite a big step up for me for high school, but it's something definitely that I'm enjoying at the moment. It has definitely made me more curious about a lot of different areas of interest. So prior to starting at Cambridge, I was mostly just focused on social sciences, and I never really had the opportunity to talk to someone that was really, really passionate about sciences or humanities. But now, being part of Cambridge and being part of a college, you really get to meet people studying all sorts of different things. And within those, they're all really passionate about their own particular subject. So you get to really talk to people that are experts at this one really particular thing. And you get to talk to people that are super enthusiastic about it, which is great, because I then get to learn a lot from people that I wouldn't have usually otherwise met. Well, I'd say there's two types of resources I'm using at the moment. Firstly is the academic ones, so any kind of research paper you could ever think of, it is available to us to read, but also the fact that the academics that usually would have written them are Cambridge University employees, and therefore you can access not only their resources and their working papers, but you can also email them and contact them and talk to them about the research that they're doing, is something that is really crucial, because not only are you then getting first-hand experience on the research that they're doing, but you're also able to get a more in-depth understanding of the context of what led them to write the research papers or the academic writings that they did. So I think that's academically one of the things that definitely stands out. But when it comes to the resources outside of my course, I think it's definitely the societies and the people that are in them that makes it really stand out. So there are many societies that are focused on a whole range of different topics, and within those I get to meet people not only from the university but also people coming outside of the university to come to us to educate us about certain topics, or also offer us certain opportunities within their firms or within their institutions, which I think is quite unique, and it's also something that's going to help us in the future for sure. I would say that definitely learning how to manage my time was quite a big challenge from the beginning. So we don't have that many contact hours compared to other universities. So what you're expected to do in your free time is reading or working on your assignments. So from the beginning, that might be a bit of a challenge because you're not used to having so much free time and you being the one determining when to do your own things. So that was definitely a challenge from the beginning, but I think that I improved on it since then, and also I am planning on improving on that for the rest of the course. Coming from Czech Republic, which is the most atheist country in the world, I really wasn't used to talking or seeing religion around me, or people that were really focused on their religious beliefs. So I think that would be one of the biggest cultural changes that I've experienced since coming to Cambridge. And this is not the case only for Cambridge, but also for the rest of the UK. So it's interesting to see the connection between the university and the wider community of people that live in the UK. But another thing is that people are in general just a lot more culturally diverse. So the United Kingdom has a lot of migrants. They're living there, which means that it is culturally also a lot more diverse because people come from a vastly different backgrounds. I would say there are several aspects to this. So firstly, so many different companies want to hire Cambridge graduates. So they come to us for different events, both at career fairs as well as pairing up with different societies at Cambridge to give us the opportunity to learn about their company and what they do and what we could contribute to within those firms. So I think that's one of the things that's really important because we get to learn about a vast amount of places which are specifically targeted towards us, so they're also more likely to then accept us after attending these events. So I think that's one of the things. But also secondly, we have a lot of support when it comes to applying to internships and full-time graduate offers, both provided from the university student center. So we get so many resources when it comes to how to write your CV and cover letter, but we also get AI platforms that really ensure that we pass all the sort of automated checks in the application so that we can then stand out in the interview, which they help us with as well. So we can schedule one-on-one calls with the counselors in Cambridge that help us prepare for these interviews. But we also have a lot of resources online, from the questions all the way to like the perfect answers and what they're looking for in those stages of the admissions process. So we really get a lot of different resources, but we also have all the companies there to where we can then apply. But the last thing that I'd like to say on this point is that since a lot of people from Cambridge then go on to start their own companies, there's also a huge startup scene in Cambridge. So a lot of my friends are currently working for the different startups, especially the ones focused on tech and engineering, because there's just so many opportunities within Cambridge specifically. So if you live in the city, it's so much easier for you to get a job there because you're already in that context and in that environment. Well, I think I have two main pieces of advice here. So firstly, it is to really do a lot of things outside of school, because doing well in your subjects simply isn't enough, and it never will be. So everyone applying to Cambridge already had the perfect grades, so you really have to stand out in different ways. So either showing that you're really, really good at that subject, so being really good at Olympiads or competitions is a great way to show it, but you can also do your own activities, like starting your own club, business, whatever. That really helps to show that you're passionate about what you want to study. And then secondly, I think the second piece of advice that I'd have is to really know what the university wants from you. So a lot of my friends made some mistakes while applying, which was mainly due to the fact that they haven't properly read through the materials that were made available to them, and that really then made the difference as to why they didn't get into the schools they wanted to. Whereas I made sure that I read through the website multiple times and made sure that I talked to enough people in order for me to know that I'm confidently submitting my application, knowing that I am like really aware of what they're expecting from me in the admissions process. I think that looking back at the journey, I would say that I would definitely do all the things the same way, or maybe just make sure that some of the things that I spent a lot of time on may have done more efficiently if I knew what I know now. But I don't think I would significantly change any of the steps I've taken in order to get to Cambridge, because I think it was a great preparation. So one of the things that I really appreciate about doing the IB, for example, is the fact that it was more difficult than A-levels. So I did make it more difficult for myself, but in exchange for that, I am now not struggling as much as my classmates that did do A-levels, because I am sort of more used to the level of work and level of pressure that is put up on us, rather than with my A-level classmates that maybe didn't experience that much pressure academically. I would say definitely try and apply, but be aware that you have to really put your best self in the admissions process. So then like applying but internally thinking that you won't get in and not putting in enough effort is never going to be enough, because the people applying and the people really wanting to go there will make sure that their application is the best it could possibly be. So if you are applying to one of these universities, you really have to make sure that the application you're submitting is the best version of what you can produce.